My name is Dr. Michael Harper, and until 3 years ago, I believed every mystery on Earth could be explained by science. I don't believe that anymore. The nightmare began in northern Tanzania, near the ancient fossil beds surrounding the famous Olduvai Gorge. I had traveled there with a small team to search for prehistoric remains buried deep beneath layers of volcanic rock. The region had yielded some of the most important discoveries in human history. We expected fossils. We found something far older, something that should never have existed. The first sign came on our 6th day. A shepherd stumbled into camp just before sunset, screaming in Swahili. His face was covered in blood. Our translator calmed him enough to understand. "A flying devil," he kept saying. "A giant bird from the time before man." Everyone laughed. Until we saw what was clutched in his shaking hands. A severed goat head. The flesh looked torn apart rather than bitten. Something with enormous jaws had done it. That night, strange cries echoed across the valley. Not bird calls, not bats. The sounds resembled the shriek of metal being twisted apart. Nobody slept. The next morning, we drove toward a small village several miles away after hearing reports of livestock disappearing. The smell reached us before the village did. Blood, rotting meat. The settlement looked like a battlefield. Huts had been smashed apart. Dead cattle lay scattered everywhere. Villagers huddled together carrying spears and machetes. Then we saw the body. A man lay in the dirt with a wound across his chest, so deep his ribs were visible. The village elder pointed toward the cliffs overlooking the settlement. "Sky demon." I was about to suggest a lion attack when a shadow swept across the ground. Everyone froze. The sunlight vanished. Something enormous passed overhead. I looked up. My heart stopped. The creature had a wingspan at least 30 feet across. His leathery wings resembled black sails. A long beak, filled with needle-like teeth, snapped open as it circled above us. A crest rose from the back of its skull. Its eyes glowed yellow. The thing looked exactly like the illustration I had seen in pathology textbooks. A pterodactyl, or something horrifyingly close. The beast dove. People screamed. Its talons seized a young goat and carried it into the air. The animal's cries ended abruptly when the creature bit straight through its neck. Blood rained down on the village. Panic erupted. I knew what I had seen. Every scientific law I trusted has just been shattered. The following days became a nightmare. The creature attacked repeatedly. Children disappeared. Livestock vanished. One farmer was found hanging from an acacia tree with half his body missing. Fear consumed the region. Eventually, the villagers decided enough was enough. They would hunt the monster. Against all logic, I joined them. Part of me needed proof. Part of me wanted revenge for the innocent people dying. 20 men armed with rifles, spears, and torches followed tracks leading into the hills. The footprints were unlike anything I had ever documented. 3 clawed toes, deep impressions, fresh. We tracked the creature to a canyon hidden between towering rock formations. Bones covered the ground, thousands of them. Animal bones, human bones. Some looked centuries old. Others looked disturbingly recent. The stench was unbearable. I climbed down from a large rock and stepped onto something. One of the villagers quickly turned his head towards me and asked what I had stepped on. I paused and rolled my eyes. Pterodactyl shit. Then we heard the screech. The beast burst from above. Chaos exploded. He slammed into the hunters like a living missile. A spear shattered against his chest. One man was lifted screaming into the air. The creature dropped him onto rocks below. The sound of his body hitting the ground still haunts me. Rifles thundered. Several bullets struck its wing. Black blood sprayed across the canyon wall. The pterodactyl shrieked in pain. Instead of collapsing, it fled. The creature disappeared behind a cluster of boulders. We chased it. That was our greatest mistake. Beyond the rock stood an opening unlike anything I had ever seen. A tunnel. A gigantic tunnel. Its entrance stretched nearly 50 feet wide. The walls appeared polished smooth by something massive moving through them over countless centuries. The wounded creature staggered inside. Without hesitation, we followed. Darkness swallowed us. The tunnel sloped downward, far downward. Hours seemed to pass. The deeper we went, the warmer the air became. Eventually, the passage opened into a cavern so vast, our flashlight beams couldn't find the ceiling. Then someone gasped. I turned my light toward the darkness. At first, I thought I was seeing stone pillars. Then one of them moved. My blood turned to ice. They weren't pillars. They were necks. Massive wings unfolded in the darkness overhead. These were a bit smaller than the one we injured. Hundreds of yellow eyes opened, watching us, waiting. The wounded pterodactyl landed among them. It wasn't unique. It wasn't the last of its kind. It was one of many. The realization shattered my sanity. This wasn't a cave. It was an ecosystem. An entire prehistoric world existing beneath the earth. A place untouched by time. A place humanity was never meant to discover. The creatures began moving toward us. We ran. Several hunters never made it out. Their screams echoed behind us as the darkness came alive. By dawn, only 6 of us emerged from the tunnel. The entrance collapsed moments later in a thunderous avalanche. Thousands of tons of rocks sealed the opening forever, or so we thought. I returned to America shortly afterward. No one believed my story. My photographs had somehow been corrupted. Every piece of evidence vanished. The world dismissed me as another scientist driven mad by isolation. For years I almost convinced myself they were right. Almost. Then a geologist contacted me after reading one of my papers. He had been surveying the region where the tunnel collapsed. He told me they drilled into the mountain and found something impossible. The tunnel walls weren't natural rock. They contained tool marks. Someone had carved them. The tunnel stretched for miles in perfect straight lines, like a man-made mine. The frightening part wasn't what lived down there. It was realizing that at some point in the distant past, something intelligent had built a home for it.